14, huh?
That's how we're going to be a presentation.
6:30.
Thank you.
Okay, so should we run?
Yeah. Hey, Bob, what are you doing? What's going on? Nothing new.
I was talking about that email and I just saw that.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't want to put the details in there. That's what it was.
No, I get it.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the City of Joliet City Council meeting, combined meeting, for January 18th, 2022. We have an invitation by Brother Ed, our Joliet City Fire Department chaplain. Mitch, he will lead us in the pledge to the flag, and our Mayor, Bob Odenkirk, will be presiding. Thank you. So we all stand, please.
Let us pray. Holy and gracious God, we come before you with thanks and adoration. We ask you to bless our mayor and his council, bless our fire and police personnel and all those who care for the sick, especially those who are ill with COVID. We also remember those who have died. In a special way, we remember Mr. William Clay Meckler, who passed away yesterday, for his wife Terry and his family and friends. Lord, create in us a sense of care, and may we all live lives of justice and peace. May we look kindly on all those who offer themselves to the service of others, and may we be grateful for this new year to be positive people, sharing our resources and talents to all we meet. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I may, Mayor, it's good to see you back around, Brother Ed. I was a little concerned about you. I know you had some issues, so God bless.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Odenkirk.
Here.
Councilman Clement.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin. Here. Councilman Guerrero.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Here.
Okay, first on, let the record show Councilwoman Gavin is attending the meeting remotely. And first on our agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So move.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin. Aye. Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Motion carried. And next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. We do have a couple that signed up. First is Rod Tonelli.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. I'm here on behalf of Resolution 6122, representing Volunteers of America regarding the Hope Manor Village project. I just wanted to make the request tonight that we would like to have that item tabled when it comes to you on the agenda.
Thanks, Ron.
Next is Joe Mazzoni.
Good evening. I've spoken to some of you. First of all, Joe Mazzoni, I'm here on behalf of DG Enterprises LLC regarding 27 North Hickory. I had sent all of you an email, along with attachments, the staff report, photographs, This was, it was kind of lengthy, but.
Not one, several.
Just want to make sure you're fully informed. That's what I want to, a lot of color pictures. At any rate, this was a property, or this is a property, 3-unit on Hickory. And if you recall from the last time this was up, this has got this kind of screwy handshake deal that allowed it to remain in R4 zoning until 2023. There wasn't really anything in writing, but there was, I believe you honored it the last time we discussed this. There was a petition to rezone that was pulled. I wanted to do a little research and preparation, and now we're asking that you rezone this property R4. Probably the best evidence that I have is your own staff report. Jane and your staff did a wonderful job on that, especially with the history of the property. The unit is about 110 or 112 years old. For 100 years, it's been a multifamily dwelling. It's had some bad times, but for the last 7, 8, 9 years, it's been in compliance. It's, I think it's been approved by your rental, associate rental agreements until 2026. There's 5 off-street parking, but I guess the best argument is that the area needs multifamily. I included petitions signed by the tenants. I included signatures from the surrounding neighbors. There's a multifamily unit right next door to it. I've sent you maps with circles of all of the multifamily units in the area. But this is the best use of the property. You'll displace 3 families. The landlord and manager is here. If you have any questions for Steve. I believe that the city manager was on board, at least that's what the staff report stated, and asked that the ordinance 55, let me get to it here, 5522 be approved to rezone this to an R4 so we don't have this problem in the future. I'm hopeful that all of you read those emails, so I don't want to read my long letter and my numerous comments about other properties in the area. This place has been there a long time, and it's got a good owner now, and they've taken very, very good care of the property. There's been no complaints, no violations of any of the rules or ordinances of the city. If there's any questions, I can answer those or try to, and if I can't, I can have the owner do that or the manager do that.
Questions?
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you. I'll try to keep my letter shorter.
Next is Robert Hernandez.
So I understand it's probably going to be tabled 6122, but, and I'll be back when it's brought before the city council, but I just want to go on record as saying that I'm strongly opposed to that from talking with residents of the area. They agree with me, enough is enough. The city of Joliet, everything that we have with respect to homeless shelters, to social services are on the east side of Joliet, and enough is enough. The city council denied a apartment complex on the west side. And if this same project was going in the cathedral area, there wouldn't even be discussion today. It would be denied, and there would be no person that could come up here to convince the city council to approve a project like that in the cathedral area. Show the same respect to the citizens of the east side. They didn't get their voice heard on the gas station and preventing the liquor license there. 250 people, African-American, Hispanics, who were opposed to that, and they were not listened to, but they don't forget, and neither do I. So again, I do a lot of live feeds, and I'm gonna do a lot of live feeds in this particular project. Even whatever happens, when this finally comes for a council vote, particularly anybody that supports this project, I will go on week after week reminding, going to different parts of the city, reminding how this vote went down. What'll be more interesting to me though, is when the vote comes up to see how the politics plays out on the homeless shelter on Brick Street. Because some councilmen didn't want loves, but let's see what happens with the homeless shelter. Will that bring anybody's home value down that might live in the area? And we'll see how some of these city council people vote when they get their calls from their friends. I'll be watching it very, very closely and addressing that issue as well. If there are people in this community who believe it's a good project, put it in their backyard, whoever he or she may be. But we shouldn't allow anyone from the outside to come in and dictate to Joliet and tell Joliet what's good for Joliet. We can make that decision ourselves. And the citizens of that East Side community do not want that burden on them. As a former housing commissioner, I can tell you that no matter what this group tells you when they come before the city council, no one can be denied any housing there as long as they're accepting federal grants. I went to Washington 30 years ago for a law that stands today to try and separate housing between senior citizens and those with disabilities. I talked to Senator Hatch and Senator Ted Kennedy, from the ultra-right to the ultra-left, and they both agreed they would never allow the separation. Right now, at Hope Manor, where we have our veterans, you have Section 8 there. And when they first presented this to the council years ago, they said it would just be veterans. Well, that's not the case. They also said they would have a coordinator there. That's not the case. They never hired one. So be mindful, no matter what they tell you, or no matter what a lawyer may come up here and tell you, that they have to accept people on that list. And I remember when I did a live feed on the gentleman who was on Collins Street, who was there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And if that had been in Jefferson and Larkin, he would have been gone in a day. That was defecating and urinating in front of children and families on the corner, and it took weeks to remove them. One lady said, "Why are you picking on that poor guy?" And I said, "Let me bring him to your house on the west side, and I'll buy the tent, set him up in your backyard." She hung up on me, but called me 2 weeks later, because a gentleman, call him Bobby, the police know him, the fire department knows him, but he's in jail right now, but he's a homeless man. And lo and behold, he went through her yard to get to West Park, and he defecated in her driveway and in her yard. And she just drove over it. But her kids didn't see, but those kids in Collins Street saw. But she called to apologize. She recognized the difference that takes place between the east side and west side. I'm just here to say that I'm gonna oppose this. Let's treat the people with the east side with the same dignity and respect that you do those on the west side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, seeing none. Council committee reports, CTIS.
CTIS committee met January 12th in the council chambers. Present was Councilman Cesar Guerrero and Councilwoman Betty Gavin by phone, myself, David Brainer, and Chris Sternal. We started with a slight review just because some of these things occurred later in the year and we hadn't had a meeting since. Just to give you some updates, our body worn cameras, we have 20 on the streets. It's going very well. The Fleet 2 in-car cameras are in all the vehicles. We've been working on that all year to get that completed. Physical security at both police stations, badges and cameras with high resolution have been updated. Implemented asset management system for all of our city vehicles. We have them all recorded and in a computer system now rather than paper. Transition to our Joliet.gov domain, which some of us are struggling with still. Evolve planning software was implemented in Q4 for the planners. The planners have it, developers are now using it. It's in a beta setting. This is a learning curve. As you can imagine, it's going to take a little while, but it'll be much more efficient once we get out of the paper method. Providing key data for water loss in public utilities. This is very important for our water supplies through districting and using more zone meters to better pinpoint where the problem areas of water loss. And there was a governance committee created. All the directors are a part of this committee. They meet quarterly to be updated and to oversee IT projects and briefings on IT activities. Then we moved on to 2022 and what our plans are. There is a GMIS international accreditation. The accreditation will be at least a year-long process to ensure best practices for the city of Joliet. Our own Dave Brainer is our Illinois president for the GMIS. For the police department, virtual reality training will begin for the tasers somewhere in February, March. Body-worn cameras should be completely rolled out by the end of April. And Fleet 3 cameras, which include license plate recognition, will be rolled out for all the police vehicles Q2 to early Q3. As always, many security updates. We have the multi-factor authentication. The City Hall Gentech door and cameras will be updated for City Hall now. Videotech will be this company that'll do it, which is who did the police stations, just to maintain some continuity. Server operations systems update will be completed as well. The productivity updates, single sign-on will be implemented to eliminate the need for different passwords for key platforms that employees have to access, rather than having, a Rolodex full of passwords. Phase 2 for asset management, more details on all city assets. It will go paperless again. Service requests will go, it'll be much more efficient, and there'll be more accountability. Content management system, looking to use Laserfish, a leader in the industry, to automate city documents, like for human resources, clerk's office, legal department, et cetera, which will eliminate the Tyler Munis for this function. And then finally, for infrastructure, they'll be reviewing the ballpark. We'll be assessing, the needs and costs for updating the ballpark wiring and telecommunications. The management of the wireless controllers that supply our Wi-Fi in the city buildings will be all brought in-house in order to save money. And lastly, we're going to be expanding our storage capacity with Nutanix storage upgrade. We'll be using the same vendor, CDW, as we did to upgrade the system the last time for the purpose of cybersecurity, continuity, and their knowledge of our system. And that's my report.
Next is finance.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met today at 5:30 here in the council chambers. At that meeting was Councilwoman Sherry Reardon, Councilman Cesar Guerrero, and myself. We had a very short meeting, not like Mrs. Reardon's report.
Thank you.
Invoices paid for December matches what they typically are, but that was about $18 million, which is above where we are typically, but it's the end of the year, and anybody that has money in their budget is spending it. The travel expenses and personnel report are made and filed. Our finance report was very strong. Again, we've been matching up with 2019, and we're about $42 million ahead in revenues from 2019. As I think everyone remembers, we're on an accrual basis, and we won't know exactly where we're at for another 60 days, and that'll, Mr. Gandati will have our final report there. The one item of importance that we, the Finance Committee, have approved to come to the full council is a bond that was taken out in 2014 in the amount of $2.3 million that was scheduled to be paid off in 2024. This procedure is defiance that we will pay that bond off early based on our financial individual experts have requested us to do that to get everything in line with the water bonds that we will be accumulating. That's my report. Caesar or Sherry, if you have anything.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Public service.
Public Service Committee met today at 4:30, January 18th, 2022, here in the council chambers. On the committee and in attendance was Councilwoman Gavin, Councilman Morris, and myself, as well as Greg Ruddy from Public Works and Allison Swisher from Public Utilities. And it was a typical year ending, if you will, agenda. We had two contracts. We looked at both the contracts. We vetted them, and both have been given unanimous approval by the committee as a recommendation for approval by this entire council. And one, which was the professional service contract for 2022 and 2023 for the National Bridge Inspection Standards Program to Willett Hoffman Associates, will be on in 2 weeks. However, The other one, professional engineering services agreement for the 2022 citywide roadway resurfacing program to Robinson Engineering Ltd. in the amount of $195,000, will be voted by this council tonight. Just to let everybody know, we need them to put together the contracts essentially for the, and this is not a misstatement, the $10.5 million in road repairs we'll be doing this year. So we'll be doing approximately, according to the MFT, which is required by state law in the fund, 4 million, plus this council voted to put in the contract $6.5 million additional, so we can get closer to that $12.4 million mark. So to me, it's pretty exciting. We're gonna do quite a bit. Of course, we do have a $500,000 additional on top of what we normally did for sidewalks as well. So that'll be on tonight. Then under the change orders, pay estimates, and final payments, we did look at a professional services contract with Rempe Sharp and Associates and recommended approval, and that concerns the downtown floodplain levy project, and that would be in the amount of $172,453. That's been an ongoing thing that staff has been taking care of rather well for years, which would impact development, but more importantly, I think, impact the insurance rates of building owners within that floodplain downtown. Most of the other ones were change orders and final payments for closing out quantities on different contracts, going from, the magnesium sulfate solution purchase, aluminum sulfate solution, those types of things. And we went through those, and though all 7 of those will be on tonight's agenda, because they are, as I said, being closed out for 2021 for the old contract. And we had a resolution declaring certain city of Joliet property as surplus. There's an attached list, some vehicles and such that essentially can be sold to the secondary market or scrapped, routine. Other than that, we had a short discussion about the public utilities on-call contracting program that Allison is putting together to ensure maybe even a quicker response on emergencies, and we'll get back to you on that. She was just kind of bringing it to our attention. And all of the items received unanimous approval from all 3 members of this committee as a recommendation to our colleagues to approve it here at the city council meeting. Terry, Betty, did I leave anything out?
No, I think you've covered everything, Councilman, thank you.
Well, in that case, Mayor, that would be my report.
Thank you.
I show no other reports. Consent agenda, approval of minutes. It is recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on January 3rd, 2022, and the minutes of the council meeting held on January 4th, 2022 stand approved as recorded. Invoices paid report. It is recommended this report be received and placed on file. Council memo number 27-22, regular payroll for October 22nd through November 4th, 2021, $3,434,095.04. Council memo number 28-22, regular payroll for November 5th through November 18th, 2021, $3,546,603.59. Council memo number 29-22, regular payroll for November 19th through December 2nd, 2021, $3,617,070.87. Council memo number 30-22, regular payroll for December 3rd through December 16th, 2021, $3,513,208.88. Council memo number 31-22, special payroll for December 17th, 2021, $1,408,427.81. It is recommended said payrolls be approved. Council memo number 32-22, award a contract for the Helen Avenue roadway project to PT Farrow Construction Company in the amount of $358,916.83. Council memo number 33-22, award a contract for the Fairview Water Main Improvements Project to Steve Spees Construction in the amount of $2,260,286.50. Council memo number 34-22, award a contract for the Ridgewood Phase 3 Water Main Improvements Project to Austin Tyler Construction, Inc. in the amount of $1,292,292. Council Memo Number 35-22, award a contract for the West Acres Water Main Improvements Project to PT Farrow Construction Company in the amount of $2,563,156.08. Council Memo Number 36-22, award a contract for the E.J. Walsh Subdivision Water Main Improvements Project to Construction by Camco, Inc. in the amount of $1,802,861.06. Council Memo Number 37-22, award a contract for the Buell Western Reed Water Main Improvements Project to Brandt Excavating, Inc. in the amount of $1,060,194.61. Council Memo Number 38-22, award a contract to CDWG for Nutanix server upgrade. Council Memo Number 39-22, award a contract to Uplift the Drug Van, approved on May 18, 2021, to her display vans in the amount of $35,360. Council Memo Number 40-22, award of contracts for information technology professional services. Council Memo Number 41-22, purchase chassis for the 2 proposed ambulances from Ron Terrapelli Ford in the amount of $88,864. Council Memo Number 42-22, purchase of 2 transit vans for prisoner transport from Terrapelli Ford in the amount not to exceed $66,646. Council Memo Number 43-22, professional engineering services agreement for the 2022 citywide roadway resurfacing program to Robinson Engineering Limited in the amount of $195,000. Council Memo Number 44-22, change order number 1 for Granicus Services. Council Memo Number 45-22, change order number 1 for the 2021 sanitary sewer point repair project, various locations to Brandt Excavating, Inc. in the amount of negative $15,958.92, and payment number 3 and final in the amount of $2,376.44. Council Memo Number 46-22, change order number 1 for the 2021 Utilities Electrical Maintenance Service Agreement to Elliott Electric, Inc. in the amount of $12,245.02. Council Memo Number 47-22, change order number 1 for the 2021 manganese sulfate solution purchase to Karis Chemical Corp. in the amount of $27,497.22. Council Memo Number 48-22, change order number 1 for the 2021 aluminum sulfate solution purchase to Usalco in the amount of $125,891.72. Council Memo Number 49-22, change order number 1 for the 2021 sodium permanganate solution purchase to Karis Chemical Corp. in the amount of $42,760. Council Memo Number 50-22, change order number 1 for the Well 5D emergency repairs project to Lane Christensen Company in the amount of $13,690.50. Council Memo Number 51-22, change order number 2 for the 2021 sanitary sewer cleaning and investigations program to National Power Rotting in the amount of negative $8,980.40, and final payment in the amount of $11,528.64. Council Memo Number 52-22, payment for emergency repairs to the number 1 digester at the East Side Wastewater Plant to Joseph J. Henderson and Son, Inc. in the amount of $52,967.25. Is there a motion to approve all said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Before we call the roll, Jim, anything you need to add or any questions on these?
Not on these particular items, but I have some.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Mayor, my microphone was off, but yeah, next, not right on these, thank
Okay.
you.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, next is ordinances and resolutions. Under ordinances, council memo number 54-22. Ordinances proposing the establishment of the 2022 Joliet Special Service Area Number 1, Walsh Avenue, Douglas Street to Taylor Street. Special Service Area Number 2, Helen Avenue, Clarity Avenue through Mills Road, and Special Service Area Number 3, Dora Avenue, Woodruff Road through Gavin Street. It is recommended said ordinances be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin. Motion carried. Next is Council Memo 55-22, an ordinance approving a variation of use to allow continuation of a 3-unit and R-4 multifamily residential use in an R2 single-family residential zoning district. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Mayor.
Yes.
This particular property, I have some issues with because this is all the reason why, and I'm so glad that we hired more people for neighborhood services. Because if you read the, packet in, 2005, 2007, I'm gonna read this. This is from the, history of the property from staff. Property sold to a new owner, and it appears that the city allowed this property owner to continue the 3-unit use for a 20-year amortization period with the stipulation that the property must convert to a single-family use by January 2024. Properly re-entered in the rental inspection program in 2007 as a 3-unit. Okay, then in 2012, DG Enterprises, which currently owns the property, bought the property from a foreclosure sheriff's sale. Now, that previous owner obviously didn't tell this gentleman that it was zoned, it had to go back to single family in 2024. And in April of 2021, it was re-inspected by the Neighborhood Services, and they gave them a 6-year certificate of inspection that expires in May 27. So my problem is with the, I know we've been working shorthanded, but we really need to get a handle on these rental properties and the proper zoning, because then after the inspection certificate was given, the city notified the property owner that the property did not have proper zoning for a 3-unit. And that's why we're here today with this. So, Jim, I would suggest that with, these new people that are coming on board for neighborhood services, we need to get a list, go through all these rentals and certificates and make sure that the zoning matches, because it didn't match. And it should have been caught before this 6-year certificate was given.
I agree, Councilwoman. And I'm sure that there's others out there, as you well know, that have been grandfathered in, and the sellers are loath to disclose that based on the fact that they'll get less money for their property, and then they come here and ask for forgiveness, as opposed to going back to the seller and saying, hey, I bought this under fraudulent conditions.
Correct,
So,
correct.
But I would try to nip that in the bud, so.
And I believe that the zoning board denied this. I'm correct on that? Let's see, I'm trying to pull that up.
They did.
Denied.
They did.
They did deny it. And I know that the St. Pat's area was very disturbed by this as well, and they read a letter at the zoning board of appeals meeting. So it's not this new property owner's fault, I get that, but we have so many of these that keep coming back to us that with these new people in place, hopefully we can get everybody with the proper zoning. So that these other folks, because a lot of times these people come in, they pay cash for a property, so they don't have to go through proper procedures and find out that the zoning is incorrect.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
It was motion, I need a second.
So moved.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. And Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
I will have to vote aye because of what has happened, but I really wanted to vote no, but I will vote aye in this case because it's not the new owner's fault.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council memo number 56-22, ordinances associated with Cadence Crossing subdivision, which is an ordinance approving a vacation of a portion of Joliet Street, and an ordinance approving a vacation of a portion of Marcella Avenue, ordinance approving a vacation of Rachel Avenue, and also an ordinance approving a preliminary plat of Cadence Crossing subdivision. It is recommended said ordinances be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin, Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
and Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is council memo number 57-22, ordinance reapproving a revised preliminary plan unit development of Ashford Place and Whisper Glen subdivisions. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is 58-22, which is an ordinance reapproving a final planned unit development of Whisper Glen Unit 2 subdivision. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is 59-22, which is an ordinance reapproving a final planned unit development of Ashford Place Unit 2 subdivision. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin, Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mayor, on the next agenda item,
Yes.
normally during pre-council, I would have an opportunity to speak about the various agenda items, and I'd like an opportunity to do so here. Thank you. I have some questions about this particular ordinance to the petitioners, such as if you're here and able to answer these, where will the funding be coming from, and will a state network referral be used? Is there anybody here from the petitioners? The other questions were how clients not from the Will County will be referred. What does the application process look like? Step by step, does it go to the Housing Authority of Joliet or to Cook County? What do the security look like for guests? What is the number that was used when applying for funding? Did it show local City of Joliet need? What is the HUD heartbeat per room for the regulations? Hope Manor, which is a similar project that you run, would like to know how successful has been the in-house program at connecting locals to jobs. How many people have been evicted from that particular location? I'd like to know what the plan is for public transportation. Additionally, I have some questions about the VAOA as an organization. The VA suspended $1.8 million in grants to the VOA based on fraud. And I would like to know if they, that they were going to ban the VOA for 3 years from additional, they had funding. I would like to know if that took place or not. San Diego County demanded $6.5 million be returned to them from the VOA based on fraud. Was that money repaid to the County of San Diego? San Diego pulled all the residential people from their lodging and relocated them to other places in their county. Were those people ever relocated to any VOA agencies? The auditors had requested copies of annual conflicts of interest disclosures from the VOA, and as of yet, I don't know if they've been ever produced or have they ever been produced. What other locations besides Joliet were looked at, if any, and why were they not good enough? I.e. Frankfurt, Naperville, Shanahan, Shorewood, Homer Glen, etc. Will County's a large place with better locations. And secondly, why should the city of Joliet disregard the state and the TIF designation that the Joliet City Council and the state of Illinois agreed should be for business development? Why should we degrade that, just completely disregard that in lieu of something that doesn't produce any business? So those are my questions that I had. I think that they're all very pertinent, and I think that they should be addressed. Thank you.
In all fairness, I think there's a request to table. Maybe this gets tabled and those questions get answered.
Mayor, it's up to you. It's up to the council whether or not you wish to table it. It's still pending. You can vote for it. You can table it. You can vote it down. It's up to the council.
Mayor, I do have one issue with this, if you don't mind. There seems to be some confusion with the names here. First, it says Veterans of America, and everybody thinks this is a veterans home. And then it's under Volunteers of America. But from what you just said, the Veterans Administration really has nothing to do with this except to help them and give money. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's incorrect. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Volunteers of America. Volunteers of America has outreach for veterans, as well as they have various programs. One of the programs is for veterans. So the VA provides them funding to help veterans. So that's how they are connected to but it's not Veterans of America, it's Volunteers.
Okay, but didn't you just say that the veterans gave them money and now they want it back?
The veterans,
fraudulent?
Yes, they, in California, they gave them 1.8, they asked for the return of $1.8 million. Additionally, the people that brought this forward to the VOA were later let go, and they have filed suit as a whistleblower, and I have no idea if that suit's been resolved.
Okay, thank you. There was some confusion.
Just kind of organization.
Okay.
I'd just like to make a motion to let the petitioner's request to table it, move on. So I'll make that motion.
It's been motioned to table. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to table the resolution denying a special use permit to allow a women's opioid addiction supportive living facility located at 1301 Copperfield Avenue, which is Council Memo number 61-22. Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to have it tabled so we could get the Volunteer of America team in. And if we could do that by our next meeting.
All right, is that aye, Betty?
I'm sorry?
This is a vote. Is that aye that you're voting?
Yeah, I'm voting aye to table, but I wanted to add that caveat. If we can get them in to answer some of these questions and also present the project.
Once the table is on the floor, you're not supposed to discuss it
Councilwoman
anymore.
Gavin?
Point of order.
Councilwoman Gavin, there was a motion for table on, so we are going to move on to the next vote. because there was a motion to table, so all comments are
Suspended.
suspended.
Absolutely, not a problem.
Okay, thank
Sorry
you.
if that was out of line.
Thank you.
Just wanted to get it out there.
Councilman Guerrero,
This is
or table,
voting
to table.
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Okay, so there was a motion to table council memo number 61-22.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may just take 1 second.
Yes.
Just a request, Mr. Caparelli, the city administrator's office has a long list of questions. If we could be provided those, we'd be happy to come in and sit down and go through them with you. So if we could have the opportunity to respond, that would be appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is council memo number 62-22, a resolution to accept and implement a Bureau of Justice Assistance fiscal year 2021 Connect and Protect grant. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Gavin, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Sorry about that. Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon. Oh, gosh, I am sorry, Councilwoman Quillman.
She likes
I gotta vote 3 times.
Councilwoman Reardon, just vote for everybody. Now Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
What happened to me?
Councilman Clement.
You forgot me.
Oh, I thought that you had voted. I said it, but I guess you didn't vote it. I corrected myself, so Councilwoman Quillman, I corrected myself.
Aye.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, folks, one vote, one person. This isn't Chicago.
Well, you call me out, I'm gonna vote.
Sorry about that. Motion carried. Next is council memo number 63-22, resolution appropriating MFT funds for the Charity Avenue, Helen Avenue roadway project in the amount of $354,566.83. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
And now Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is council memo number 64-22, resolution approving a cost-sharing service agreement with PACE and Centerpoint for bus service on PACE Route 511. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is city manager.
I have no comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay, so next is new business, not for final action or recommendation.
Joe. Betty?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Caesar?
Notes.
Larry?
No, thank you.
Terry? Brett?
No.
Jim? Jerry? Nothing.
Okay, so next is public comments. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment? Robert Hernandez.
I'm glad I stayed for the meeting. I kept awake. I just want to say that over the last 4 years, I've had over 2 million viewers on my Facebook Live, and I'm very proud of that. But I want to say that I've covered the Joliet Police Department and the Joliet Fire Department extensively, and these men and women are very professional. They do a great job, and despite some of the recent incidents which has occurred, our overall crime rate is down in the city of Champions, and we are a safe city. So I just wanted to make a point that our Joliet Police Department, our Joliet Fire Department do a very professional job. Having said that, I'm going to continue to do live feeds and also on other city events that are going on. But I'm also going to concentrate because I'm going to watch the politics very closely. I'm woke now, as Betty would say. I'm very woke. And I'm going to start in Councilman Mudrin's district this weekend, and I'm going to talk about a variety of issues and my disagreements with him. Because in the next election, as I tell the people over and over again, I'll be telling them month after month, week after week, as I do this one feed on city council, on politics, I'm going to tell them what I believe, who I believe is influencing some of the members of the city council, and the politics must stop. I tell the people it's not these business people who contribute to their campaigns or organizations, it's you, the people, that make that final choice. And I'm going to be going from neighborhood to neighborhood, and my biggest followers are in Councilman Mudrin's district, where I also live. That's where I have the majority of over 6,000 followers. So I'm going to be very, very active, and I may get candidates to run in the next election because I think it's time that the citizens of Joliet get represented without the political BS that does go on behind the scenes, and we all know it does. But my main point today was to say, and that goes for Councilman at large, we'll be watching this all very, very closely, and what's going on behind the scenes, and how these votes go, and who has the most influence. But having said that, the main point I wanted to make is our Joliet Police Department, our Joliet Fire Department are doing an outstanding job, and I'm very proud to be out there when I'm doing my live feeds. These men and women act very professionally, and they do a great job of protecting the citizens of Joliet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nancy Hughes-Moyer. I'm the president and CEO for VOA of Illinois. While there is a reasonable debate to be had about the merits of the project that our organization has put forward, I will certainly defer my comments about the merits of that project. But there are two things I cannot let go and stand on the record. The first is the incredible work being done at Hope Manor Joliet. And to even attempt to address the wild inaccuracies presented at the beginning of this meeting about that project would be impossible and would take most of the evening. But I will say, to clear up some of that, I would like to introduce Mr. Hernandez to Gunnery Sergeant Robert Coffey, who has been the service and program manager at Hope Manor Joliet for years. For years. So on its face, his most easily factual allegations about our project are patently false. Mr. Coffey, what percent of the residents at Hope Manor Joliet are veterans?
Ma'am, address the council, please.
100% of the residents at Hope Manor Joliet are veterans. Mr. Caparelli's questions about an organization in California has nothing to do with our organization. It is a completely separate organization with a completely separate 501c3, a separate board of directors, a separate CEO. Nothing about that organization is connected to VOA Illinois, any more than there are United Ways that happen to be connected by a national organization. That organization has nothing to do with VOA Illinois. We have been accused of nothing ever in the way of fraud. No funding we have ever received has ever been asked back. We are in incredibly high standing with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, the Illinois Housing Development Authority, the Housing Authority of Joliet. So again, I will defer the meaningful and important discussion about the merits of that project, but it is important to me that the citizens of this community and the members of this board not be confused and leave this meeting believing some of the factually and patently false information that has been presented so far. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to make a public comment? Seeing none, mayor and council comments?
Joe? Betty?
I have nothing, sir. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I do. I'm sorry. I'd like to congratulate the National Hookup of Black Women, Joliet Chapter, who just received the Allen Award for community service. It is an organization that Councilwoman Quillman and myself belong to. These ladies do tremendous work, and it is my greatest honor honored to serve as the national president of the National Hookup of Black Women. So congrats again to the Joliet chapter on receiving the Allen Award for community service. Thank you.
Thank you. Caesar?
It's very cool. I'd like to just one more time thank Pat Mead for organizing this sort of vigil that occurred last week, allowing for space and opportunity for some of our Joliet area nurses to be able to express themselves and share some of the stories that they've encountered working in the COVID units. And certainly this is something that's not quite over, that we haven't overcome as a community. I'd like to thank Mayor Odekirk also for being in attendance that night. And once again, just reminding people that we haven't cleared the woods yet, and this is still something that's ongoing, and it's going to take some time for our communities to recover, but that we are very sincerely grateful for our frontline healthcare workers, especially our nurses who have been tending to people at their, at their most vulnerable times when they're in need of somebody most. So thank you to all of you.
No.
Jan?
Actually, I do. I saw it on the news today, and I've been getting these phone calls as well. If you're getting calls from ComEd, it's a scam. They will not call you to tell you that your bill is overdue, you need to pay it immediately, that they're gonna shut your electric off. They make it sound like it's legit. They have the last 4 numbers of your account. They have your name, they have your address, and they're telling you these are back charges and they're due immediately. Never will they call you at home about a bill. And demand payment, they're sending a phishing email, which is meaning they'll send you an email and say, you must pay this immediately. Do not talk to them, hang up. They will not call you. It's a scam, and some lady almost came very close to giving her bank account number to this fraudulent person that's making these calls. And I'm sure it's more than one person. So that's just my little public safety thing that I wanted to get out there tonight. Be well and stay safe, everyone, and hang up on ComEd.
Terry?
There is a request to go into closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
At which time we're going to adjourn the meeting following it?
Yes, I would,
Okay.
yep, I would, yes.
So move. Second.
There is a motion to go into closed session, and it was seconded. Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Guerrero,
Aye.
Councilman Hug. So we will go into closed session to discuss personnel,
Aye.
collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance, pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will adjourn. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. So.